Star Rail is almost here, guys. We've said this in the last two videos. I know. I'm a repeat offender of using the same shtick. But, of course, we're going to continue this series. I think we have so many characters to cover when it comes to Honkai Star Rail. And honestly, I can't think of better characters to talk about than the free-to-play characters, or at least characters you're going to get right out the gate. And we already talked about March 7th, but there is another character that I want to talk about that is of the free-to-play variety, and that is going to be Danheng. But before we get into Danheng here, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. And of course, leave a comment on what you think about Danheng or what you think about the channel. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, Danheng here, right, is a wind user, or for people who are coming from Genshin Impact, he is an animo boy. That's as best as I can put it. He is a free-to-play 4-star unit, so you could kind of look at him as almost a Kaya equivalent in that sense. We talked about how March 7th is almost like an Amber equivalent. This is going to be like the Kaya equivalent, but he is of the wind variety, and he is the hunt as his path is the best, or not the best way, it is what it is. But the hunt path is characters of this path have extraordinarily single target damage, which is critical in blitz battles. Now, these paths, like I've said before, play a huge role in the game. So you want to be, this is kind of like, the way that I could explain these paths is that it gives you a baseline of how you want to build the character. So that's what's really cool about those, and I really like that Honkai Star Rail went about this. But I digress. The hunt, again, extraordinary single attack damage. Let's go ahead and take a look at his abilities really quick. So, the Night Spear technique, which is his regular attack, deals wind damage equal to 50, 100, 110% of Danheng's attack to a single target. Night Spear technique Torrent deals wind damage equal to 130, 260, and 286% of Danheng's attack on a single enemy. On a critical hit, there is a 100% base chance to reduce the target speed by 15%. Now, to me, as of right now, it's showing that you want to build him with a high crit rate and a high attack percentage. And that, you know, is a typical DPS. Obviously, we do this a lot when it comes to DPS characters in multiple games. I'm always going to reference Genshin Impact, and to all the people that get angry with me referencing Genshin Impact, I do apologize. That's the other game I play on here. It's the easiest way to, you know, kind of put the two together. But I digress. Let's go ahead and keep going. Ethereal Dream deals wind damage equal to 240, 400, and 432% of Danheng's attack to a single target enemy. If the enemy is slowed, Danheng's ultimate damage multiplier increases by 72, 120, and 129%. Now, let's talk about his talent here. When Danheng is the target of an ally's ability, his next attack's wind resistance pen increases by 18, 36, and 39%. This effect can be triggered again after Danheng has taken an action one time. Give me a sec. So, he's gonna work really, really well when he is targeted by an ability. So you could see him probably work with Asta, or even March 7th in this case, because March 7th has that shield ability. So, it works really, really well. Now, the Splitting Spearhead. After using a technique, which is the two up here, Danheng's attack increase by 40% for 3 turns in the next battle. That's very, very good. I think that's honestly, like, fantastic when it comes to that. Let's talk about his traces now. Hidden Dragon. When HP is at 50% of max HP or lower, reduces the chance of Danheng being attacked by enemies. So he becomes, like, he's not aggroed, which is cool. Like, it makes sense because if you are going to pair him, like if you're going to go free to play and you put March 7th on there, March 7th wants to take the aggro away, so that works out really well. Now, Shadow of Despair, right? When launching an attack, there's a 50% fixed chance to increase speed by 20% for 2 turns. This effect cannot stack. This will actually play into one of the Eidolons that I was looking at. I believe it was Eidolons, right? Right. I'm not dumb, right? No, light cones. I am dumb. It's gonna play into the light cones I was talking about. Now, High Gale, Major Trace. Basic attack deals 40% more damage to slowed enemies. Very, very good. Again, he seems like a very baseline, you know, DPS. Now, Eidolons are the constellation. So let's go. We already know this from the previous video. Eidolon level 3 and level 5 increase, you know, basically the traces and skills. So don't worry about that. Eidolon 1, the higher you are, the harder you fall. When the enemy hits has HP greater than or equal to greater than 50 or greater than or equal to 50%, Danheng's crit rate increases by 15%. That's really good because, again, you want to make sure that you have that crit rate because it's going to play into his actual skill. So bear in mind that's what you're looking for. Control the Malice, extinguish the flames, reduce talent cooldown by 1 turn. That's amazing, actually. It's very simple, but I think it works so great because, again, this is turn-based. So you want to make sure that you have more than enough, or not more than enough turns. You want to make sure that you could get your skills back up ASAP or talents back up ASAP before, you know, the enemy has the way to, you know, kind of come at you. Sorry, I'm very tired, guys. It's been a very, not busy day, just very tired day. Now, Eidolon 4. Balance like the sun and sky. When using his ultimate to defeat an enemy, Danheng's next action is advanced forward by 100%. Now, that means that he becomes the top priority when using his ultimate skill. So he will always go first in the turn if you have him at Eidolon 4. I think that's going to be good because, again, that ultimate is decent, especially with how the multiplier on it, which is really, really good. So bear in mind for that. Now, the Troubled Soul Lies in Wait is the Eidolon 6, where slow targets by skill reduce the enemy speed by an additional 10%. So it makes them even slower. And that means, again, when you're on a crit hit, you're slowing them down. The Eidolons play into that slowed status. Very crucial. Very crucial indeed. So, I think Danheng is pretty decent. I didn't get to use him too much because I honestly didn't know how to use him at the time when I was playing in the initial beta. And he's changed a little bit since then. But from what I'm looking at right now, he's going to be a decent 4-star, especially for free-to-play. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the set that you would use on him, the Relic set, right? The Relic set that I'm probably going to be using on him, honestly, is the Eagle of Twilight line. Now, the 2-piece increases wind damage by 12% because, again, he is a wind type, and he is going to be a DPS. 4-piece increases the wearer's speed by 10 and regenerates 5% of max energy after each action of the wearer. This is going to be good because, again, you're focusing on your speed, and then, of course, with the Eidolon, if you get enough of his Eidolons, I want to say Constellation, but if you get enough of his Eidolons, you're going to, at the ultimate, you're going to go up to the forefront. So you're going to get your energy back, or 5% of your max energy back on that turn. So, and then of course, 5-piece increases wind damage again by 12%. I think that's going to be his crucial. I tried to look for another set that might work. You could make an argument for the Musketeer of Wild Wheat. Attack by 15% when the wearer uses a basic attack, increase the wearer's attack by 20% and speed by 10 for 1 turn. I think that could work if you don't want to go for the Eagle of Twilight line, but I think that Eagle of Twilight line is going to be his best set overall. Now, let's go ahead and also talk about light cones, because I think that light cones are the biggest thing, because again, it's going to boil down to exactly how weapons work, and you don't want to summon on light cones, but obviously if you pull a light cone that works, you pull a light cone that works. I think from what I'm looking at right here, the only Silence Remains is going to be a great one for the hunt, and it's because you're going to capitalize on that crit rate, right? Increase the attack of its wearer by 16, 20, 24, 28, and 32%. If there are 2 or fewer enemies on the field, increase the wearer's crit rate by 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24. Now again, the reason why I'm saying that this would be a great one is because not only are you increasing your attack, which is going to be what you're building off of, but you're also building that crit rate on enemies that are 2 or fewer. But again, at the same time, you can have a max of 5. So you have a 40% chance of entering a battle with 2 enemies or less. So to me, this would be the best one for the 4-star, or one of the best ones. I did actually want to look at Return to Darkness. Increases the wearer's crit rate by 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24%, just like we were talking about there. After a crit hit, there is a 12, 15, 18, 21, 24 fixed chance to dispel 1 buff on the targeted enemy. This effect can only be triggered once. That's good too. Instead of worrying about the 2 or fewer enemies, you just get the crit rate baseline as is, which is good. But I don't think really that second ability is going to apply to you too much, unless the enemy has that buff. You could also get the, like, here, let me move my camera really quick. Sorry about that, guys. There is this one sword play for each time the wearer hits the same target. Damage dealt increases by 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and stacks up to 5 times. I think that honestly, the only one that is worth the time of day, or not really worth the time of day, but I think the best option would be only Silence Remains for the 4 stars. Now let's talk about the 5 stars, because I think that this is going to be absolutely crucial. Because again, 5 stars are, let's be real guys, they're always going to be better. You have Sleep Like the Dead, increases the wearer's crit damage by 32, 40, 48, 56, and 64% when the wearer's basic attack or skill does not result in a crit hit. Increases the crit rate by 40, 50, 50, or 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60 for 1 turn. This is going to be Danheng's best, I think. This is going to be it. And the reason being is because if you don't hit that crit the first time, you're going to hit the crit the second time. It's almost a guarantee at that point. You could do any of these other 2. Cruising of the Stellar Seas. Increase the wearer's crit rate by 8, 10, 12, 14, 60%. And increases, crit rate. And increases the crit rate against enemies with HP less than or equal to 50% by an additional 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. When the wearer defeats an enemy, increases their attack by 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40. I would say that this one would be good, but there's always, you have to make sure that you're giving Danheng that final hit. And then of course, in the night, increases the wearer's crit rate by 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24% while the wearer is in the battle. For every 10 speed that exceeds 100, increases the wearer's basic attack and skill damage by 6, 7.5, 9, 10.5, and 12%, and increases crit damage of the ultimate by 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. This could stack up to 8 times. That's big if it stacks by that much. But it's only stacking the second part. You're not stacking this first part. So I think that it's going to be in between In the Night and Sleep Like the Dead. I might even say that Sleep Like the Dead is the best one if you want to guarantee. So, but when it comes to Danheng himself, I think that Danheng is going to be a fun little free-to-play. Definitely not what I remember of him, but again, I didn't use him too much. I really didn't. So it could be that I just didn't use him. So, but he looks good. I like his kit, how it revolves around attack and it revolves around crit rate. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. But yeah, I can't wait to try him this time around. He looks like he's going to be a lot of fun. Now guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe down below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. Guys, very excited for Star Rail in general, and I can't wait to do the next set of characters on this channel. So let me know who you want to see. Once again, this is Tectone signing off. Have a wonderful day, guys. Please be safe.